I want to talk a little bit about some of my favorite things about investing. Let's get into that a little bit. Let me share with you a press release that I got the other day from just one day last week. Walt Disney Company Board increases annual cash dividend by 50%. By 50%. Those of you that have been around any of the workshops I've done or listened to me on the radio or anything like that know how much I really think dividends are important to your success as an investor. Long-term dividends represent about 40% of the return that you would get on the stock market in any given year. If you were to invest in an index fund, S&P 500 index fund, about 40% of your return every year is based upon the dividends that are generated by those companies, and that number even goes up more if you reinvest the dividends and take advantage of what Albert Einstein calls the eighth wonder of the world, compounding. It's a great way to do that, and I just over the years it's for me become a clear focus about how simple it makes investing. If you deal with companies that pay dividends, you can reinvest those dividends, get that compounding thing going. Warren Buffett loves dividends. The greatest investor perhaps of all time, Warren Buffett, desperately loves dividends, and through his company Berkshire Hathaway, he's the largest shareholder in a lot of the great dividend-paying companies out there. The one he talked about and wrote about in his annual letter to shareholders in May of this year was indeed Coca-Cola, and it's a company that he has owned for a long time. And Coca-Cola is one of what is called the dividend aristocrats. A dividend aristocrat is the company that's paid a dividend for at least 25 years in a row, but more importantly has increased that dividend every year for at least 25 years in a row. That's a really solid testimony for a company. And so he talked about in his letter how much he loves this company and what a great investment it's been. And I don't remember the exact dollar amount, but I think he said when we invested in Coca-Cola, he said, I think it was around $365 million we invested in Coca-Cola. And he said that was some years ago. And he says, by 2015, every year we will get a dividend payment greater than the amount of money we invested in Coca-Cola when we bought the stock. So in other words, he's going to be getting $365 million a year in dividends on a company that he paid $365 million for. Annualize that return out, it would be roughly 100%, okay? 100% is what his cash flow is on that stock. And coincidentally, the stock, of course, has gone up dramatically over the years as well, so it's been just a stellar performance. Any of the companies that qualify as dividend aristocrats, you would find had very, very similar returns over the years. Not identical, they're not all the same, but I think it really is a testimony to buying dividend-paying stocks. There are 43 stocks that qualify as dividend aristocrats. So I would think that just put that in, Google it or put it in your search engine, dividend aristocrats.